How you doing, folks? Yours truly, Randy Rand here. Just with a little bit of a rant for today's talk. I know you've heard about all of the killings that have been going on in Minnesota, as well as the police being killed in Dallas, as well as Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it's a terrible time. It's not a good time, and certainly I know all of us are very upset about how we as African American males and females, as well as children, are being killed in the streets like animals, being slaughtered like our lives don't matter or like we don't matter or whatever. Taking the law into your own hands is not the answer. I'm not one for vigilanteism, vigilante law, however you want to phrase it. Uh, the young man that got caught up in being a vigilante and taking the law into his own hands ultimately suffered, by having his own life taken by the police. And quite frankly, I can't say I blame them for doing so. When you attack law and order, um, you've lost it. But at the same time, you don't want to have law and order killing you for no good reason either. Having said that, I've come up with a couple of solutions, and certainly they're in the long term. And I've kind of picked my brains about how to address this, and talking to a couple of friends of mine about how to address this in the short term. And as far as I'm concerned, uh, you know, there there's no way to do this in the short term other than pray or I don't know, extend your hand out to the police officers of your community, because like all politics, all actions are local. Just because something happens there in Baton Rouge, I think I'm saying that right, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Just because something happens down there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, doesn't mean it has to happen here. It doesn't mean that the same thing has to happen here in Wappingers Falls, New York. You know, it's local. It's local, and I think that's one of the best ways to move forward with regards to establishing relationships with our local police departments. It's going to take a lot of elbow grease and a lot of time and a lot of trust and a lot of patience. Certainly, those are not attributes to come easy by, but the efforts have to be made. And I want you to take a look at some of these suggestions that I've come up with. Um, and of course, I'm working on some more, as well as some other people are working on their solutions. And hopefully, we can all come together and, finally do something about this epidemic. Um, one thing we have to do is understand that there's a lot of racism being at play here. And to some degree, dare I say it, these white police officers are afraid of the black community, and I understand why. Uh, it's not because we are the worst people in the world, but certainly we have been made out to be like we're animals, and like we're wild people, and we're savages, and we're not savages. We're human beings. Now, some of us may act contradictory to what I just said. However, I think it's unfair that the larger group of people are held to that lower standard and therefore being treated as such. That's another topic for another day, but right now I want you to take a look at some of these suggestions that I have with regards to how we can move forward in the African American community as well as the larger society with regards to police brutality and establishing better relationships. Yours truly, Randy Rand, and this has been today's talk. Thank you.